Welcome to Growth Sparks, the podcast for health and wellness entrepreneurs and practitioners. Here we dive into founder stories, strategies, and innovations that drive this dynamic industry. I'm your host, Riza Javellana, and today I'm very happy to be joined by Kevin Murphy of Eff-Bomb. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure to be here with you.
So let's start off with your background. What's the journey that led you to Eff-Bomb?
Well, I've always been entrepreneurial. I've started a couple other companies. I was part of a startup right out of college during the dot-com bubble back at I always say the turn of the century now. So back in 1999, I just always wanted to do my own thing and tried a few things that worked to some extent, but didn't quite scratch the itch. I didn't succeed in the way I wanted to, so I had to go get a real job, as they say, and work for corporate America. And through that process, I just validated my instinct that I really wanted to do my own thing, build and create my own business and product. And I had a lot of ideas along the way while I was working my corporate job, and the Eff-Bomb product was the idea that I had that made the most sense, something I wanted for myself. And I went down the path of the R&D and development and finding a manufacturer to make it, and just kept traveling down that path, and here I am.
So tell us more about F-Bomb itself. The name is already intriguing. What does it do?
Well, it's a nutritional supplement for coffee drinkers,
Mm.
and it's an effervescent tablet. That's where the F in F-Bomb comes from, EFF. So you drop it in your coffee, it dissolves much like Airborne or Noon. There are other effervescent tablets for other nutritional supplements. And that was really where the idea came from. I liked the idea of taking a multivitamin, but I hated swallowing pills. They made me nauseous. I was taking Airborne at the time, and I'd never missed my morning coffee. And I was sitting there with a jar of pills, a cup of coffee, and my Airborne. And I thought, well, why couldn't I just put the multivitamin in my coffee and not have to swallow pills? And did the research. The product didn't exist. And then again, I went kind of down the rabbit hole of, okay, how do you actually make this? What does it cost? Is it a marketable product? And then I started talking about it with friends and family, and everybody thought it was a wonderful idea, and I started working with the manufacturer and brought it to market.
Brilliant idea. I
Thank
have
you.
these effervescent vitamin C mainly for my kids, but I never really thought about what can be more out of that tablet than you thought of that. So it's amazing that you brought it to life. Why hasn't anybody else come up with this idea? Is there something unique about your product that you were able to crack and make this happen?
I don't have an answer for that, and I'm happy that there isn't another competitor
Yes.
out there yet anyway. And that's where I'm trying to get out ahead of it in terms
Yeah.
of, because it, humbly saying it, I do think it's a really good idea. It's a lot easier to take your supplements by
Hmm.
stacking it onto a habit that you already have. Obviously, a lot of people drink coffee. I think it's something in the 70% range of the population drinks coffee. So it's just an easy way to get your nutrients without having to take an extra step, either swallowing pills, making smoothies, or mixing powders, making a mess. It's just, if you're on the go in the morning like me, I have four young kids, getting them out the door. I always have my coffee, but I don't necessarily have the time to step back and do something separate from that. So it's just, it made sense. And there are similar products in the sense that there's plenty of effervescent tablets, but I just took the angle of marketing this to coffee drinkers simply because it's a large market. It makes the most sense. It made sense to me. I really made the product for myself, and then it's expanded. And obviously, other people like yourself have caught on to, hey, this is a good idea. Why wouldn't you just drop it in there? And it tastes great. It absorbs. And through the process of developing the product, I really learned a lot about the difference between pills, tablets, gummies, and then you have these effervescent deliveries. And when the vitamins and minerals and supplements are in liquid form, your body absorbs it a lot easier, and it's easier to digest. You don't get a lot of people do get nauseous. I didn't realize that that was a thing either. I thought it was just me but a lot of people have told me that, hey, this is great. I usually get nauseous when I take pills, especially on an empty stomach. And that's a result of your stomach producing the bile and stomach acids to digest. When you don't have a lot of food in there, then you feel that nausea come on. So that's where that comes from. And so I learned a lot. And there are other features and benefits of it that are just ancillary to what the product actually is. And the whole point of it is to make it as convenient as possible for busy people who are health conscious.
Yeah, it's definitely smart about how this tags on to an existing habit and eliminating things that you know you have to do, but hard to do. As you get older, you get more and more supplements. And myself, I find that I have to space that during the day because I just can't take all of them at the same time. So smart to have something incorporated into your habit early in the morning, definitely painless. And from what I understand, it tastes great as well.
It does taste good. We have vanilla, mocha, and then a black coffee flavor. If you take your coffee a specific way and you don't want to change that habit, you can, if you're a vanilla flavor person, then the vanilla is perfect for you. But if you're a black coffee person, then the original black coffee flavor doesn't change the taste of the coffee, and then you get the benefit of the multivitamin.
Awesome. So, who would be your ideal customer for this?
Well, I always say that that's been the hardest part of this entire journey. There really is no ideal customer other than the health conscious coffee drinker, which is, I always say, if you took a Venn diagram of coffee drinkers and then people who take supplements, it's almost like a complete crossover. Most people take some sort of supplement, most people drink coffee. So to segment that huge market has been a challenge, and I'm still figuring it out as I go. I have customers who are in their 80s and love it because they don't have to swallow pills. I have college age students who just like the idea of staying healthy while they're studying, and they're busy too, and everywhere in between. It's not female oriented, it's not male oriented, it's not elderly, it's not young. It's really almost too many people. It's a good problem to have
Yes.
to a certain extent, but it's also when you start, I sell mostly online, and I don't know how familiar you are with, like, we'll take Meta, for example, with say Facebook ads or Instagram ads. You can dial in your marketing to, I mean, you could put as many parameters as you want to say, I want everybody named Riza who is in their 30s and da 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 da, all the way down to how much money they make, where they live. And that gets really expensive. And I've tried it several different ways, and you get a little bit of traction in every category. So it's really hard to know. It's a long way of answering your question. I don't know the perfect customer. I don't know that there is a perfect customer other than a coffee drinker who is interested in an easier way to take their supplements.
Well, I guess the big market you have also gives you an indication of how big the business potential is, which is a good thing. Right.
Very exciting. It's a massive, massive opportunity and market,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm working on. It started out as a multivitamin, and
Mm.
I'm come to realize that I can put pretty much any formula into this tab. Any supplement can be delivered via your coffee. So the idea is I want this to become known as the brand, the supplement brand for coffee drinkers. And it's a delivery method, not just for multivitamin, but for all sorts of different. I have a bunch of formulas that I'm working on right now. And I want this to become known as the brand for coffee drinkers who like to take
Amazing.
supplements.
That's awesome. Certainly expansion plans there. I can already imagine.
Yes.
How long has this been in existence, the original F-bomb?
The idea, I had the idea quite a while ago. It took some time to figure out, okay, what do you put in it? What's the best formula? And then finding the manufacturer, working with them. The one that I'm working with has a very good R&D department, testing out flavors and the whole gamut of the different formulas, and finally landing on what I have now. I've been doing this full time for about 3 years. So from concept was about a little over 10 years ago that the idea kind of clicked in my head. And then it took a couple of years to figure out how to do it, where to do it. And then I had to figure out okay, how am I going to finance this and really build it into a business? And like any other startup business, there's hurdles that you have to get over along the way, and finally got it to market and have been doing it since about almost exactly 3 years now.
And would you say at this stage in your business, which part of the growth cycle are you in? Are you still in the infancy stage? Are things plateauing a bit where you need a good kick to start things off again?
The proof of concept product is on the market now. People love it. And I do feel like I'm in a growth phase now where I do want to expand the product line. I'm really focused on most of my business is subscription based and direct to consumer. I've just started getting into smaller retail now. So there's expansion into the traditional retail. I'm really focused on building the subscriber base to be able to finance the growth, which I'm going through currently. And as we speak, my company is competing on a television series called America's Real Deal. I don't know if you've heard of that or not. I'll send you the link. You can watch the show, but just think Shark Tank. It's a pitch to investors, and it's a very similar setup in that sense. And the twist on this compared to Shark Tank is that the viewing audience has the opportunity to participate on the equity side of things and buy shares of the company. So that there's this fundraising component that I kind of stumbled into. I was contacted by the casting people at the show and went through the audition process and got selected to compete on the show, which wasn't necessarily in my plan for last year, but that happened. And it really gave me an opportunity to step back from the day-to-day work of what I'm doing for my business and looking at it as, okay, if I'm pitching to investors, what does this look like as a company currently, and what is it going to look like 3 to 5 years down the road, and how do they get a return on their investment? So it's a very good exercise in that sense. And that really did light a fire for me to really look at this as a bigger brand and the potential, like you were saying, the market is huge. So I want to take advantage of that and move as quickly as I can to reach as many people as I can and expand the product
Yeah.
line to build the brand awareness. I would say it's a long way of answering your question. I'm definitely in a growth phase right now. Yeah.
What do you think has been the biggest challenge in terms of getting F-Bomb into the hands of coffee drinkers?
I would say there are two components to it. One, myself included, coffee drinkers are a fickle bunch in terms of most people take their coffee the same way, no matter what, unless they happen to be at a restaurant or somewhere where they don't have what they normally drink. But in the morning, if you're making your own coffee, chances are it's going to be the same every day. So adding something to that or asking them to change their habit was a barrier in terms of getting people to try it. Wasn't as easy as I thought. People like the concept, like the idea, but then when it comes to actually, okay, I'm going to change what I do with my habit that I do every day for the last 20 years, that's the tough nut to crack. And that kind of combines with the second issue that I discounted a little bit. I don't have a online sales or online marketing background, and I took for granted how difficult it is to actually get people to purchase online and how many times you have to be in front of them and get those touches for them to actually pull the trigger. You hear stories of products or things going viral. That's a lot like winning the lottery. I mean, it's not realistic. You can't count on that. I wasn't counting on it, but I also didn't realize how much effort and how much time it takes to really acquire a customer as opposed to just putting it out there and assuming they're going to come to you. You really have to be on offense. So those were the two main, not problems, but realities that I had to face and figure out and understand. And that took some time and still takes time. And it's always changing too. That's the other thing, is that you can have it perfect for a little bit and then all of a sudden the algorithm changes and you're left at square one, and it's just part of the game and you have to adjust accordingly.
So, as a company who's obviously innovating and has potential to expand as well, what are your priorities in the next 6 months?
My priorities for the next 6 months is to really ramp up the subscription side of my business, online sales, and then as I'm doing that, expanding into the traditional retail stores that I was talking about. Ultimately, what I want for this brand and business is to be in every store, Target, Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, just a ubiquitous, it's everywhere. So people have easy access to it because I think it is a great product, as well as being on the menu at Starbucks or Dunkin' or any coffee chain where you can add it on to your coffee as if it were a Jamba Juice protein add-on or whatever they do there. It's just a easy way to make coffee a little bit healthier for people. And you could get an Eff-Bomb latte at Starbucks that would be great.
So, looking at the industry now, when you zoom out, what do you see are the trends in the health and wellness industry that you think can impact your business in the next few years?
It's hard to know. There's so much. I mean, there's a lot of competition, a lot of products in the health and wellness space, just supplement. The supplement category is huge, and that's both a good and bad thing for our business. The awareness is there. I think people are getting more tuned into longevity and the importance of taking care of your body in a way that maybe in my own little echo chamber, because that's all I focus on all day, every day. I'm looking at competitors, I'm looking at other products, other formulas, other supplements that are proven to actually do something. There's also a lot of products that are just more or less snake oil. It's horrible, not good ingredients. It doesn't really do anything. They're making claims that aren't true. So there's a tricky balance there where you have to build the trust in the brand and instill that confidence in the consumer that, okay, this is a great product. It has great ingredients. It's traceable. It's made in the United States. It's legitimate. And then you also have to support that with the information. Okay, what's in it and why? What is it doing for me? I like to provide, theoretically, if you ate a perfectly balanced diet, you wouldn't need any supplements. The reality is that everybody's busy. If you have kids, you're busy, you're on the move all the time. There's just not time to chop the vegetables, prep it, cook it at home, clean up, all of that. And that's why the packaged food industry is so big too, where you need to eat, you need to do it quick, and you need to have it convenient and cost effective. So you're not getting the nutrients that you should be getting from your food, which is the point of supplementation, where you can, it's kind of like an insurance policy on your diet. I try as hard as I can to eat as well as I can, and I still fall short every day. And I know that, and I'm conscious of it. And that's the reality of this period in my life. And most people are in some period similar to that, where it's just not realistic to eat perfectly. It's almost impossible.
Oh, I can certainly relate to that. And with the aging population as well. And you're right, there is a heightened consciousness for better, longer lifespans and how you just want that quality of life for as long as you can get it. So,
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
the trend. Any
Sure.
advice for founders or product leaders in this health and wellness industry? As you said, there's more and more things coming to the market. What's your advice to someone who's just getting into it?
I just did a post on LinkedIn yesterday. I just had this thought of speaking personally. I'm an idea person. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I constantly have ideas that I have notebooks full of. Most of them are stupid. Most of them don't work, but I write them down. And then if I tend to go back to them or think more about them, then that means there's something there. And then you really have to just follow the path. And you're either going to come to a dead end, either someone's going to have already done it, or it doesn't work from just a business standpoint, that there's no margin to make a living off of. But what I was saying in the post that I did was, if there's something there that gets you excited, that there's always a little kind of jolt of adrenaline, You'll wake up in the middle of the night with a thought or an idea about it. You'll write something down, whatever it is. If that fire is there, if there's a little smoldering, then I would say follow it and just keep doing it. If it makes sense, if you can make it on paper, make sense financially, if it's a product that solves a problem, usually it has to be like this Eff-Bomb, I was solving a problem for myself. So I'm passionate about it. I can speak to it. I use it every day. I would say it has to solve a problem that you can relate to and you can communicate well. And then you just have to keep doing it. It's not easy. I mean, my wife uses the analogy of you see a duck swimming, it looks like it's just gliding on top of the water, but underneath you have the web feet going like this
Yes.
nonstop. And you have to just keep going. And it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's stressful. There's always going to be problems. You have to be willing to and want to do everything at first. And
Yeah.
but I would say that the consistency is the key. You have to just keep really passionate about it. It's something you really want to do. You can't let anything get in your way because you're going to be able to get there if you really want to. And keeping going is the key. It sounds simple, but it's also very difficult. You have to be disciplined. You have to have the passion. You have to set aside the time. You don't have a boss. You don't have someone telling you what to do. You're
Mm.
eating what you kill, basically. It's stressful, but it's very rewarding.
Yeah. Keep swimming. I love that.
Yeah.
And lastly, where can people go to learn more about F-Bomb, or if they want to reach you to ask more about it, where can they go?
Well, the website, it's EFF-BOMB.com. I'd love for everybody to try it. I'll give you set up a discount code for your audience that they can use. And I'd love any and all feedback. Getting in touch with me, if you want to get in touch with me personally from a founder standpoint, if anyone needs or wants advice, I'm always happy to talk to people. LinkedIn is probably the best way to reach me. You can send me a DM. It's Kevin Murphy, or go to Mercado Health. Mercado Health is the company name. Eff-Bomb is the brand, but I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. And then to learn more about the product and business itself, the show that I mentioned, America's Real Deal, I'm on episode 5 of that, which is a great way to learn more about me and the company and the backstory. It goes into great detail on that. So that's a good resource as well.
Thank you, Kevin, for your time today. It was so interesting to hear about your story and the F-Bomb story. And I wish you all the very best in making this the biggest thing ever.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity, and I'll get you some vanilla to try as well. I'm curious to hear your feedback.
Amazing. Thanks so much.